Morning, everyone. At least, yeah, it's still morning. Sorry for the delay. We had a bit of an issue that we double booked the internet, but hey ho, never mind. So it's the first Wednesday of December. Wow, can't believe that the year is nearly over. I'm guessing that there's a lot of you who are thankful for that. Let's hope that next year is going to be much better. But anyway, I digress. So I did say that this month, I know it's December, but I am not doing Christmas cards. If you're like me, I have a lot of birthdays in December, so I figured some of you may be running short of birthday cards or whatever other occasion cards other than Christmas. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. You should have your kits, and I'll just run through it quickly. So you've got your usual envelope. We have a, this is basic grey card base. So it's an A4 sheet that's been cut in half at 10.5 all the way down. And then I've scored it a 14.9. And so that's your card base. You will have a sheet of petal pink, a sheet of the Whisper White. You will also have two sort of wideish strips of the designer series paper that I'm using, and this is the Peony Garden paper. I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute. So you have two strips. You also then have a smaller piece of basic grey and a piece of the Peony Garden paper that will mat onto that. A strip of petal pink cardstock that has been embossed. And I used the Parisian Flourish embossing folder for that. So actually this is more, maybe you can see a bit more detail on that. So I just actually embossed a piece of cardstock and then cut it into strips. I used a guillotine because obviously I don't want to snag on that. And then you also have a piece of the, I want to say grey granite, but I could be totally wrong. Yeah, it is grey granite shimmer ribbon. So it's got a little bit of a shimmery sparkle effect in it. So that's what's in your kit. So I'm going to put that to one side. For those of you who haven't seen it, the Peony Garden paper looks like this. So it coordinates with basic grey. I don't know, maybe I'll put it, no, I can't figure it out. So we've got basic grey, grey granite, petal pink and Whisper White, and there's a mixture of images and just geometric designs, and then this kind of looks like a bit like marbled stone. That definitely looks like marbled. So you can do all sorts of things with this paper. It's great for birthdays, great for weddings, and basically it's great for all sorts of occasions. So that's the paper that you've got. This is, as I said, the embossing folder. So this is the Parisian Flourish. It's a 3D. So, and it's a very deep design. It's very sumptuous. And I'm actually sometimes never quite sure whether I actually like the debossed side or the embossed side. So I'll leave it with you to decide which bit you want to use. Okay, so the paper itself actually coordinates with the Peony Garden Suite, which you will find on page 82, 83, and the stamp set's on 84. So there's the paper, there is also some embellishments, the ribbon, dies, stamp set. So there's lots of things that you can do with it, but we're just going to stick with the kit today. So I'm going to show you briefly. So these are the two cards that I've made. So this is the first one. So this I made using all of the bits in the kit. It's pretty straightforward. So I glued the 2 pieces of designer series paper to the petal pink piece. It's up to you which way round you want to put them. There, it will be a join in the middle, so that's where I used my piece of embossed petal pink. Then I simply glued that then to the card front. The other piece of the designer series paper is glued straight to that matting layer of basic grey. Wrapped the ribbon around it, tied it in a bow, put it on the card front using dimensionals. Now I did take the liberty, and this card I couldn't quite make up my mind whether I wanted it to go landscape or portrait, because I quite like them both ways. So it's up to you which way round you want to put yours, but I took the liberty of actually stamping a peony from the prized peony. So I've used this image here from the prized peony stamp set. So that was the first card. The second card, not that much different, but what I did was I decided that I was going to colour. So I've used Stampin' Blends on the peony. So I used both the light and the dark petal pink. She says just these two. So that's what I used to colour the peony. I decided I was going to use different size. Well, this actually is a different side because that one I used before. So I just turned this piece here, turned it over, and that's what you get on the other side. So I simply glued them first to the petal pink piece. There will end up being a gap here, so I thought, okay, well, I'll hide that with the ribbon. So you've got the ribbon going over. That's all then glued to the card front. So colour one of your peonies. Doesn't need to be all of it. You can colour all of it if you want to. So I've used the petal pink Stampin' Blends. I'm trying to think whether the petal pink is actually in the watercolour pencils. I should check really. So anyway, I've done that. Use Stampin' Dimensionals there, and then I've actually then used my piece of the embossed petal pink on the inside. So you just glue it to the piece of Whisper White, trim it because it's longer than this, because obviously it was originally designed to go across the card. So glue it on, trim it off, and then just put the whole thing into the card. So that's the second card. And then I did actually stamp an envelope as well. So that was that. So I now need to get my kit. And I really am winging it today. So I've got my base card. I've got that smaller piece of, I don't need the ribbon at the moment. I don't think I need the embossed piece. So I was trying to think of something a little bit different, and but also something that is easy to do. And you may have seen this fold, so I'm going to do a fancy fold. It does involve getting your trimmer out though, but we're still only going to use what's in the kit. So don't panic. So I'm going to get my trimmer out. Now I know that that is 14.9 because I cut the cardstock, because it's the whole length of a piece of A4, which when you fold it in half gives you a 14.9 by 10.5 front. So what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to quickly measure these because I can never remember what I cut them at. I think I cut them at 4.5. So So I'm going to score this. I'm going to turn it, I don't know why I'm turning it that way because it doesn't really matter. So if I score this at, let's see, 5.5. No, a bit more than that. It's going to score it at 8 and 4 is 12, 9 and 4. That'll do. I actually don't, that's too much. So it needs to be in half basically. So I'll just do it at 7. That will make more sense. Okay, so we're going to fold this piece back. It's not going to meet that piece all the way, so don't fret about that. It's not meant to. You could score it less and have a bigger gap here. It's entirely up to you. What did I do? I'm sure I had my bone folder a minute ago, but okay, right. Yeah, there we go. I actually cleared my desk today. Okay, so I quite like that piece of paper, so I'm going to put that and glue it to that edge so that you've got a little bit of it sticking out. So when you fold that over, you can see a bit of it. Let's find some glue. I've noticed that I seem to be gathering shadows in here at the moment. I think it's because the daylight is so bad outside, and I know I don't get an awful lot of daylight in here anyway. There you go. No, I don't really want to get all the way down because I know this is longer than the width of the card. So I want to butt it up to the edge completely. Let's see. I don't know that there's a right way and a wrong way for this, so I'm just going to simply glue it to the front like that. Try and make sure that there's no basic grey that you can see on the edges. I think that's that. I'm going to trim that piece off. Open up the card to do that. Just makes it easier. Oops. There's not too much glue on that, so I don't think I actually got any on there. So we've just got a very small amount that you can see there. Now I'm going to put this piece here like that. Now I can either put some white on here, or I can cut down my piece of petal pink, which is what I'm going to do. So it's already the right width, and so I just need to very, very quickly, and I will put all these measurements up for making this card, so we know. Right, so as I said, I scored it at 7, so I want to cut this piece at 6.5, or we could just simply, see, because it won't go that way, you could turn it and cut it so that it's 10.5 by 7, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it so there's a border on it. So I need to cut it at 6.5. So that's that piece. So that piece is going to get glued on there. It just then gives a contrast. So for the basic grey. Now you could, if you wanted, go off and emboss this. So I'm actually going to cheat. So if you've got and I'm going to use a piece of the flourish that I've already done. No, I'm not. That's not fair on you. So I will just stick to this as I had planned. So we're going to put the petal pink on here. So there is a border around it. If you prefer, as I said, to have to cut it so that it's 7 by 10.5 from that piece that you've got, then obviously feel free. So then I'm going to glue these two pieces together. Oops, I think there might be a little bit of glue on there. That's that. So I mean, you could colour one of the images if you want to, but I'm not going to this time around. So we've got that, and then we've still got our ribbon. So I'm actually going to put my ribbon on. So you have a piece that is long enough to tie around, and you can tie it in a knot, tie it in a bow. And hopefully this doesn't take me too long to do. She says, oh dear. Why is it when I'm not on this, I can just go, and that's it, it's done. But the minute I go on, oh, that's okay. I think I'm just going to keep it with straight ends. Obviously, you can do fancy ends if you want to. So that's going to go on the card front like that. And I'm going to use dimensionals to fix it on. So, I was going to say, where have they gone? They've disappeared yet again, but no, I just found them. Now, if you're using, well, it doesn't matter if you're using dimensionals or if you're using glue, whatever you do, you want to make sure that you don't put anything behind that piece that will be over what is effectively the back of the inside of the card. Otherwise, basically, you're just gluing your card shut, which is not necessarily a good idea. So, what I tend to do is I will put some on the edge. I also use one to hold the ribbon down. Sort of place that. Don't take the backing off just yet. And then I've kind of made a note mentally as to where this is going to go, like that, and you can peel them off and put them on. Like that. Now I'm actually going to try, she says, and centre this panel from here to here rather than from there to there. I might just have to stand up. Apologies if I sound very loud all of a sudden. Oh, glad that you've got this stamp set, Deborah. It's very pretty. So effectively you have got a Z fold but with a panel on the front. Now you've also still got your piece of Whisper White. So you can put that in there. You could put your piece of embossed petal pink on there if you want to. If you've got the stamp set, or if you'd like to get the stamp set, that's great. So I'm going to stamp it in, I'm not going to stamp it in grey, I think I'm going to stamp it in petal pink. Now I know I've got grey ink on that, so I need to clean it. There's nothing worse than putting grey on that. Now you don't need to stamp the whole image on an edge. In fact, I would advise you not to, simply because you're then basically covering up where you can put your sentiment. So I tend to put mine across corners, but I'm going to go kind of guessing where this stamp is, like this. Yeah, there we go. Stamp it off so that if I end up putting something on top of it, it's not so bad. So we're going to stick that in there, and then you've got the pattern that you can still see along the edge as well, underneath that piece. So just take your time with it. Just, as I said, don't try stamping the whole image. Just stamp part of it. Make sure, obviously, you've got something, piece of scrap or something underneath. You don't want to be stamping on your best tablecloth or worktop. So stamp one, stamp the middle, and then stamp the third, because obviously if you make that one too big, then you can just make the next corner smaller. So that is it. So that's my third card. Hope you liked that. So we've got an envelope. Got lots of bits all over the place. Where are my other two cards? As I said, I can't figure out which way I want to go with that, but I've made it landscape. So, and similarly, this could go landscape or portrait. It doesn't matter. Obviously, this one has to go landscape because it's not going to stand up otherwise. So you've got a fancy, quick and easy Z-fold card. And then you have two landscape ones. One using all of it and one using just some of it, and then with a bit of colouring in. So I hope that has given you some inspiration of what you can do with your kit. I'll be posting photos later, and obviously this Facebook Live will be saved to my Facebook page. I'll probably put all the cutting instructions up on my blog, simply because if I put it on Facebook, it's a bit more difficult to find it. I'll see what I can do, but I'll probably end up putting it on both. Maybe I'll set up an album for this and then you can find it a lot easier. And then next week, we've got next Wednesday will be simple cards and techniques. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but it'll be something different. And then obviously we've got one more card kit then before Christmas. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Details will go up on Facebook together with details of what I've used. So if you'd like to replicate these but don't have all the products, then obviously you can visit my online shop. Should mention that if you want these before Christmas, then the last day for shopping is the 9th of December. Anything after that definitely, or almost definitely, won't make it to you in time for Christmas, just because we know UPS and the like are just going to be completely snowed under with everyone's Amazon and all the other stuff that they're buying online. If you order before the 9th of December, although it cannot be guaranteed, it should arrive before Christmas. So that's it, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.